Good Sunday morning, everybody. I am back with a brand new DC update. I would have done this update yesterday, but I spent a good portion of the day at urgent care taking care of an ear problem. Nothing too serious, but I got tired of not being able to hear for more than a week out of one of my ears. So I had to go in. Trying to get into a doctor is ridiculous anymore. And then the freaking eardrops, get this, were $175 for eardrops. Talk about being ridiculous. Luckily, we were able to get it down just a little bit, but that is with insurance. Talk about a medical system that is seriously screwed up. It is, pay an arm and a leg just to have insurance, and then they charge you an arm and a leg for medicine. Stupid. But at any rate, I am back today. I am going to have this update now, and I am going to try and have up the movie update, movie news update later today. I was going to go live, but because now I'm backed up with stuff, I've got some stuff going on today, and I won't have time to go live. But I do plan on having that one up later today as well. But we're going to look at the DC news, and there's been some interesting stuff coming out of the Comic-Con. Now, first of all, I want to thank everybody who came to my rescue and were sending me messages and things on Twitter and here on YouTube in regards to the Batman the Animated Series figures that I was looking for. Now, I've come to realize that they're probably coming from several different sources where these are going to be made. One of those is Mezco Toys, which are overpriced toys in my eyes. But it'll be interesting to see, how much they charge for those animated figures they are going to have. And then the other ones do appear to be, and I haven't been able to confirm this yet, but they do appear to be McFarlane figures. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they are coming out with different waves this year, and I do believe that the animated series was one of those waves with either 5 or 6 figures, including Catwoman, it was Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, possibly Kite Man, and some other characters. There were so many pictures of toys coming out of the Comic-Con. It was hard to keep heads or tails out of what was what. Now, if anybody's actually been at the Comic-Con, please clarify who's making these toys. What company do they fall under? I'm very curious. I'm hoping it's McFarlane because I love collecting the McFarlane toys. I really don't want to branch out into any other companies at this stage, just simply because I already have the Batman and Superman animated figures that they put out, several years ago. At any rate, let's look at some of the news. So at the Comic-Con, it was announced that there are 2 major animated movies being developed by Warner Brothers Entertainment. The first of those is Watchmen. Now, I'm not sure why they are doing an animated Watchmen film, especially when we already have a definitive version with Zack Snyder's Watchmen, which followed the comic extremely close. It was like a 1-to-1 copy of the comic, so I'm not sure why we need an animated movie on that, but I'll still check it out. And then you have Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, this is also an interesting decision. I thought that they were going to make all of the animated stuff, the movies and the TV shows and the games all the same under the DCU brand. So it says it is a DC Universe movie, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. Could this be how they set up the Justice League? And maybe Superman is not going to be a part of it. This will be interesting. Maybe that's how they're going to explain how everything switches over to Gunn's universe. Who knows? All we know is that these are coming out next year prior to the Superman legacy film, which I still have doubts is ever going to get made. Every day that goes on, with this writers and actors strike does not bode well for Warner Brothers and getting any of these projects off the ground. I mean, these will probably be made because if these are coming out next year, they're already working on these. But the other stuff, and when they make animated movies, being a voice actor, just know whenever they do an animated movie, they always do the voices first. So if these are coming out next year, the voice actors have already done all of the work for these films, and they're just now working on the animation, which doesn't require the writers or the actors. So these will get released one way or another next year. Now, there's been a lot of hoopla all over online in regards to the Barbie movie. Now, the Barbie movie is nothing other than a hate men movie. I refused to go see it. I was going to go see it, but when I found out what the subject was and how the movie ended up, I decided I'm going to pass on it. The girls can have that one. If they want to hate on men, have at it. But you've lost the men in the crowd. But at that same time, there is a joke in the movie. It says, Barbie features a joke mocking Zack Snyder's toxic fan base. Now, a lot of people online said I didn't have a problem with it in the context of the movie, but what you have to realize is that Barbie is a Warner Brothers movie, and they are taking a dig at the DCEU. There's no question about it. They just can't help themselves. This is the regime out there that decided to make this happen. And I do have a graphic I'm going to show you here in a few minutes that talks about that particular joke and how it came to be. Now, this made me laugh when I saw this, and we have to talk about this here for a second. It says, Comic-Con is the event of the year for us, and we wanted to basically show up for the fans. DC's Jim Lee tells THR about returning to Comic-Con. And he talks about the magic of James Gunn. I just about lost it when I read that headline. So I pulled up the article, and there's been a lot of talk about this online over the last 48 hours as well. Jim Lee is just praising James Gunn because of his knowledge of comic books and the lore and understanding it, and that he's helped triple the comic book sales for DC Comics since getting announced as the head, and then, talking about the slate of films that he has coming out and equating those to the comic book stories they're loosely going to be based on. What they have to understand is, it's helping with the comic book sales. Maybe you need to make him the head of the comic division. But he's ruining all the films. The films have been destroyed. I'm skipping Blue Beetle and I'm skipping Aquaman, and we're going to see that things are getting bad for Aquaman. Like, the studio butchered The Flash, and we've learned that through Muschietti and also through, some of the deleted scenes that came out. And we're going to talk about one of those deleted scenes here in a few minutes. Now, there were several different rumors going on out there that they were thinking about delaying Aquaman 2. And it says, according to ET Now, Warner Brothers reportedly has no plans to shift the date for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I don't think there's any reason to at this stage. The cards are going to fall where the cards fall. They have created their bed. They now need to lay in it. Delaying this movie is not going to help sales, and the damage has already been done. And there's been quite a bit of damage, as we're going to see here in a few minutes. Now, I don't personally believe this, but time will tell on this one. It says Zaslav may be considering canceling the Batman 2 due to pressure from Gunn. Let's see if they still support them if they do. Now, I'm not one of those people that absolutely hated the Batman. It's an extremely flawed film to me, but I still enjoy it. I am a Batman fanatic. I don't like Pattinson in the role. I don't like the way they portrayed him. There needs to be growth in that character in the Batman too. But if this happens, they're going to piss off even more people. And the studio should be trying to bring people together, but all they're doing is trying to tear everybody apart, which is crazy. And Zaslav, man, he's a piece of work. So who knows if this is true or not? Time will tell. All right, so here is another one that's coming from that same source. And it says another scandal is coming. James Wan is threatening to sue Warner Brothers if they don't allow him to finish Aquaman 2. Already 18 months in post-production, and they don't let him finish his vision without further interference. Wan joins a countless list of incident-damaged James Gunn and David Zaslav, who changed the ending of The Flash and altered several sequences of film, damaging the final product that remained in the disastrous 260 MDD World Finals at the global box office. I am hearing lots of rumors out there that James Wan is not happy. He's already made a public statement, and I brought this up. There is a quote from him out there where he has no idea which version's coming out, that the studio has changed this so many times. And this is why I'm not going to support this film, because this film is not James Wan's film. This is the studio's film. And studios are not in the business of making films. Directors and writers are. And the more that these studios interfere, the worse it gets. And I will not support this version because it is not James Wan's version. I hope he does sue them. I hope this story is true. So this trails back to the Barbie comment that I made a few minutes ago in regards to the Zack Snyder's Justice League. The director addresses the Snyder Cut reference in the film. It says, "I didn't even really realize that because I don't have a dog in this fight." Meaning she's not a DC fan, probably has no idea that this movie even came out. "I didn't even really know. I knew it was a thing. I don't know the contours of all the ins and outs." Means she's not a fan. "But it's the kind of thing that I vaguely know. But I think that was the thing. That it was like if writer Barbie had a vague knowledge of it, and then all of a sudden in a certain slate, it really meant a lot to her, and then it went away." That's from Greta Gerwig. So they kind of threw that in there. Still, it's a dig at the fans. It certainly is. Some people saying it's not, but it certainly is. All right, so the last photo I have for you is a zinger here. And it says, Andy Muschietti will no longer direct Batman Brave and the Bold due to creative differences. James Gunn is looking for other directors to take over the project. Guys, this is fake. All right? I had numerous people send this to me and wanted to know if this is true, and this is not true. There are so many people out there trying to imitate discussing film, and you can tell if it's right by the handle at discussing film. There was a W at the end of this. So this is a parody account. This had nothing to do with discussing film. There is no truth to this rumor, and so this is not true. It would be nice if it was, but it's not. All right, guys, so this is a false story. So let's talk about the state of the DCU at this stage. Warner Brothers is still on fire. They are still bleeding money. They are still in a heap of trouble. The strike is still going on. James Gunn has ruined the last 4 films. There's no hope for the future. Okay, I still firmly believe that. And as long as these studios keep doing what they're doing, things are just not going to end up well for Warner Brothers. They need to get out of the way and let the filmmakers make their movies. Now, James Gunn will have his way. He'll be in charge of everything, and once that starts, he can do whatever the heck he wants, and I want no part of it. I've seen his stuff. I don't like his jokes. I don't like the things that he does. I have no interest in him taking over these beloved characters, but we'll see what happens in the future. I will be here to cover it all. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.